So how are you?
I'm doing fine. Long day, but hot weather also.
How is it like living in Asia for the first time?
Yeah, the humidity is very high, I must say. Yeah, I know you're getting into summer here, so it's getting hotter, but still I'm managing.
So how is it different between like Germany and Philippines, especially Asians? Is there something you find that different?
There are a lot of differences. You mean about weather-like?
Weather,
yeah.
food,
yeah,
or people?
Yeah, also, yes. Yeah, the city is very vibrant. It's very, very dense. A lot of people living here on a small space. For example, Manila, I think it has like 15 million, or the metropole, Metro Manila. And the main city from a diocese, Hamburg, it's the same size, but only has 2 million. So it's very dense
and dense.
It's crowded, and it's so busy and yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah.
So you're a future priest. No, I wonder. Maybe you can just introduce yourself.
Sure. I can introduce myself. Yes. My name is Nathan Dieckmann. I'm 25 years old, and I'm now only my first year of theology. As a seminarian for the Archdiocese of Hamburg. Hamburg is in the northern part of Germany. It's a big diocese, but because only there are few Catholics living there, it's only 5%. So there's a lot of area to cover, you can say. But yeah, so I was born in Frankfurt. And I was with someone else, and I came to faith not in Germany actually, but in the States, and I was so close to becoming a Mormon, Mormon actually in the States, because my guest family was Mormon and I really liked their spirit. But I stayed Catholic when I came back, and then later I'm from a military family, so it's voluntarily in Germany. So I joined the Navy, the officers program.
Oh man, you're a military guy.
I was.
Oh my goodness.
I was. And so in the Navy, 1 year in military school, and then a military university in Hamburg. That's how I got to know that city, and I did my majors there and majored in history. Yeah, but during that time, I felt like there was something missing.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean it's a long story to tell it shortly, but I felt I was getting more and more involved in church, and in my hometown. There were not many youth in church, especially in Germany. Only old people go to church in many places, at least. And but when I went to university, I got to know a student parish. There was a military student parish, and my best friends are from there. And we got engaged in that parish also to spreading the gospel with Bible studies and in other ways. And also before, I also had the idea to become the idea to become a priest before I entered the military, but there was no youth. I had no Catholic friends. For example, my friends were not Catholic. I had friends, but they were not Catholic, and so it felt so absurd. And I asked Jesus, please show me the way, and if you want to, just throw me out of the military. Eventually, he did that, but but I did voluntarily. I did it. I was a nice soldier. I didn't do anything bad.
So how was your education of family about faith in your family itself? Because your family is coming from a family that is a military.
Yeah.
How was your education about faith?
So my parents are not military, but the family of my mother, there are a lot of military members in there. So my mother's is Protestant, my father's Catholic, which is a normal thing in Germany, that you have marriages to confession. And because my grandparents were strong in faith. We were all baptized Catholic, and so I went to First Communion, and but my family, I would say, especially my parents, have faith, but they are not religious, so they don't go to church.
How do you come to this decision that I want to be the priesthood? There is something that you find missing or lacking or in your life, because in Germany, as you all know, as many people know, that it's very secular world, and then the faith is decreasing. As a young man, as a handsome man, so how come you decide to follow this way?
In one part, I don't know. So this was one part. Why I was attracted to that calling in the first place. But I asked myself, what am I really called to do? And if I look back on my life, how is it supposed to look like? And where do I find the deepest meaning? And there's no other place I found this than in Jesus. And I want to follow him with everything I've got. And I think in Germany you need to be a little crazy in current situation to go that path, because many others are going the other direction. They're
so
leaving.
Is there a moment that your friends told you that, are you crazy to choose this way? How's your response?
I mean, from the friends that, especially my friends that I knew from church, they were rather, I understand. I see that you're really happy there, and you found meaning there, and so they understood, or even they liked it. For my family, I mean, it was harder for them to understand, because it happened, or I became more and more active and open with my faith when I was in university, and they weren't there all the time. And of course, I shared with them. But I guess for some parts of my family, it was difficult to understand. Maybe it still is. But what I really like about German culture, is that there's tolerance, a very big tolerance for everything, and so they say, well, if you're happy, it's fine, and at least that helped me. I didn't get so many bad answers, but it was a difficult time also, because normally if you enter the military you have a contract, 13 years, and I left after 5, so normally this is not allowed, and I had to tell my superiors, and this was also very weird for them, because they never had this occurring before, and well, in the end they found a way. I had to speak to a general and all that, and to explain it, and then bishops helped me that I could leave temporarily, at least. So right now, if I decide, I want to become a husband or a father, I would leave.
Like to go back to the military.
They would take me back, and I would have to serve my.
So earlier you mentioned about you came to know about your faith not in Germany but in United States.
Yes.
And you are almost follow Mormons and the Catholics. So why not Mormons and the Catholics?
So when I was in the States, I was first in a different family, and I had a lot of problems there. They were very far away, and they had a lot of problems themselves. So, there were a lot of problems in this family. And so there it was the first time, because I was a young boy, I was 15 and far away from home, that I prayed. It was the first time I prayed, and really intense. And then 3 days later, I found a new family, and this family helped me a lot. It was a family which was, whole. It was a whole family. There were a lot of love in this family, and I also saw that this came from their belief, and I was of course interested in that. I was open, especially I was open for a relationship with Christ, and that helped me. So I'm very grateful for that. And later on, they told me, well, read the Book of Mormon. I don't know if you know the Book of Mormon, but it says that Jesus comes to America, and a lot of weird things happen, and there are weird rules. And I said, well, I believe that this is from Joseph Smith and not from Jesus Christ.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So when you decide to go to the Catholic Church, where you find something that is like, oh, this is what my heart wants to follow.
Kind of the sacraments, I would say. Sacraments. So when I came back, there was preparation for confirmation. I didn't feel like the preparation because I needed more, wanted more, and it was rather shallow. They didn't go that deep. But we look back to the moment of confirmation. It was really beautiful, and we felt the Spirit's presence. And after that, there were no youth, not really youth in my parish. So I went to Mass alone for like 3 years. It was a hard time. It was a hard time, and especially I went there to see Jesus, and I found that, especially in the Eucharist, he's very close to us. The prayers, maybe you also know it. If you pray after you receive the Eucharist there, especially there, I felt like the call. But it was hard back then.
Where are the moments that you find very great consolation through the Eucharist? No. So what the experience looked like to you?
With the Eucharist, it's like goosebumps. I would say goosebumps. Sometimes with deep prayer, it's of course with the Eucharist, I would say, but also with other kinds of prayer. I've been wearing a Tizzy cross, maybe you know it, and the singing together. And the silence, I really like that prayer, where it's not about the music especially, or there's a great program, but it's just, this time is only for God. This place, it's sacred, and sacredness really, I love it. I love it, looking for it, and and especially the Eucharist, in that time where I was alone, going to church. This was really communion. I didn't feel alone at that part, I would say.
So it's like Jesus is present with you at the moment. So that's how you find like falling in love with Jesus at that moment.
I would say that. I mean, it's a journey. It took years after that. Like 6
Actually,
years after
for me,
that.
it's not easy for you. Like I already had my work, like as a military, so it's a good life, And then I decided to go out as a young man, so I decided to follow this life. It's kind of hard, But maybe some people, as your own family, they don't understand also what you are follow. But for you, something that is very meaningful to you, and decided to follow this way. So you said earlier about like even I had a military training, so I have a good work. So I did not find meaning in my life, and I look for something else that I find. So would you consider that right now you find the meaning that you learning for?
Yeah. I mean, it's still, life stays a bumpy road. There are always bumps and in your daily life. I don't know. Also in seminary, maybe. So some things are annoying, or but I really like going down that road. So yes, I think I found meaning in my life. I mean, serving the military is also serving for other people, and it is meaningful. And also back then it was something that I looked for, meaning and serving. But you can't do both at the same time. And for me, the call for priesthood was more urging than becoming a successful officer. But I have many friends there, and they're doing a great job.
So is it like because you see in Germany there is lack of priests, or there is a faith drop down, that's what you feel like, I have a calling to serve? Or is it something beyond that?
I personally think, I'm called to serve, but I know that my strength is limited. Of course, I can't save everything, or this is not my job. Jesus will do that, and he will call other people. I'm sure about it. For example, right now in Germany, there are higher numbers of conversions to Catholicism, especially of people our age. Because people are looking for meaning, and if you're in a society where you tolerate everything, there's no, you have no guidance. People are looking for guidance because this is a world with so many ways to go and so many wrong paths also to choose. Yeah.
Oh, I'm happy to hear that. A lot of young people converted to Catholic.
It's starting. It's starting. Yeah,
that's something that is great.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, it's not my work. I know that I have my limitation. That Jesus does it. Actually, he does it. Then now he convert a lot of conversion there. So, would you find yourself that there's some moment that you find it difficult to live your life as a seminarian?
So, in Germany, a lot of churches are closing down. Also, seminaries are closing down. My seminary is also very, very small. For example, we're only five, and there are smaller seminaries even. And I find that very challenging because I think on the bumpy road it's easier to be together, and of course with five there's also some community, but you're only five. You're always the same people. Of course, there are also other students at the university, lay people especially, and without them it would be very hard. But I would really call for like unifying seminaries. Yeah, I know it's hard. I know there are all these schools, all these people working in these schools, but from my perspective, it would help. It would help a lot. Yeah.
So how's your relationship with Jesus amidst the globalizations, amidst the things that is constantly changing, rapidly changing, and fastly move on? So how is your relationship with Jesus? That somehow it can be slow, or sometimes it can be empty or dry. So how's
well, I think Jesus himself is eternal. So I'm not. So I'm sometimes in bad mood, sometimes in good mood. So of course that changes. And I know that if I'm annoyed, for example, by something, the same situations. It's like it's harder. It's harder because you have other emotions that are covering it up. The path you should go, which is the path of love and being humble. That's always a challenge.
So as a young man that a life in Germany, especially for the youth. So what could be the best way that the church can help the young people to go back to the church?
I would say really center church on Jesus. I have to say this because sometimes churches think, what can we do so they don't leave? So they have, for example, in preparation or confirmation, nice food or fun games, but Jesus is missing.
Yeah, that's right.
Or when Jesus comes in, we're asking, why should we listen to that guy? So put him always at the center, and not also be not afraid to talk about your faith. That's also important. And I think or especially in German Western society where it's so open and there's so many different things you can choose, we can also center on the things that make us question and think, and tell them like, look, that's what we see differently, but we love it. Also, don't go on a mission with angry, and with an angry vision and saying like, oh, these are all bad people. This is not true. That's not the truth. But to say like, well, I love my faith and I want to share it. And I think with this spirit, and if it's authentic and you do it authentically, like who you are, what I found out already is that people believe you of that, and then they also want to know.
And I heard that in Germany, like there are Christians or some denominations like Protestants is growing and Catholics are like few. So what is the approach there, if you could say, from Protestants and
so the main Protestant churches, they're also losing a lot, sometimes even more than the Catholic, I would say. So like Lutherans or Reformed churches. Pentecostals are winning, some, but they're not as big as Brazil or other places. So in Germany we have a history. I mean, also in my family, there's a Protestant part of my family, a Catholic part, and for some people on both sides in my family, faith is also very important. But they're being ecumenic. I mean, also today is ecumenic. We are very far gone. So forward. I mean, we went far forward, and there are a lot of services, for example, where you celebrate together, and good relationships. But good relationships help, but would be better if not both are losing the whole time members and somehow fail to transmit the faith to the next generation.
So is there a moment that Catholics and Protestants denominations, like they have different point of view about faith, or there is a collaborations, or there is a different in ways of
yes, I mean partly I would say. So if you've heard about the synodal way, the synodality in Germany, how it started because of oppression of the abuse crisis. They were advocates for example, women ordination, which the Protestants did, or for including homosexuality, more LGBTQ, more into the church, which the Protestant did. So you could say they're moving together. Also, of course, Protestant pastors have families, also celibacy. They were arguing against. So you could say they some parts of the church they want to move closer to the Protestants. Also in political matters, you would say they are very similar. Although there are some differences. For example, when abortion in Germany is legal before you went to a counselor, and they want to open up so that you don't have to go to a counselor, and you can do it in every clinic. And the Protestants were in favor of it, and the Catholic were against it. So there are some differences, but the ecumenism went so far that sometimes normal person can't differentiate a lot. Where they differentiate, of course, they see, priests can't have kids, can't have a wife. That's where you can see the differences. But also the synodal way has polarized the church. So there are some dioceses which are clearly against the synodality in that way, and others are very in favor of it. And it's a hot topic. And I don't know if this, this polarization, I think it doesn't help our church.
So I think this is the end of our conversation. So you said a lot of things. As a young seminarian who you want to be a priest in the future, to help the church and work with the church and bring people come back to the church, hopefully. So what message do you want to give to the people, especially the young people, as you know that they convert a lot? So
I think the most important part of Christianity is the personal relationship with Jesus, and to read the scriptures, to pray, to go to mass, and really to find a way how to follow him. And these paths are different. These paths look different how to follow Jesus. There are multiple paths. It's not just that only the clergy can do this. Everybody can do this. And I would really, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Jesus is welcoming you. Yeah.
So thank you very much for your time, opportunity to
Thank you.
share about your faith and experience. It is really helpful for me and for others to know that sometimes in our life it can be very tough or can be very rigid, that I don't want to go to the church, I don't want to follow this faith because I want to enjoy my life, something like that. But when Jesus calls you, He converted you, you have no more reason to argue with Him. So I think we just open our heart, open ourselves to listen, as you mentioned, go to the church, pray the Bible, and Mass, Eucharist, really important that we can find meaning in our lives. So I really appreciate that you can find your true meaning, which is not in material things, but which is really in Jesus. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate
Thank you.
your
Thank you very
things.
much.
Thank you.